Good morning, everybody. Welcome to today's 1 million by 1 million strategy roundtable for entrepreneurs. This is our 157th roundtable, but it is also the final, the second final of our 2030 New Year Challenge. So this contest is in celebration of us reaching the 150 roundtable milestone. You can imagine what it takes to do 150 plus free mentoring sessions like these week after week after week, and I have to especially recognize Maureen's immense contribution to bringing this show to you. So a big virtual round of applause for Maureen Kelly for producing 150 plus 1M1M roundtables. So for those of you who are here for the first time, the mission of 1M1M is to help 1 million entrepreneurs reach $1 million in annual revenue and beyond, thereby helping build $1 trillion in global GDP and 10 million jobs. So we are recording the roundtable. You will have the recording available on our YouTube channel and on the blog. And if you're following us on Twitter, our Twitter handles are at 1M by 1M and at Sramana. You can also live tweet the show with hashtag 1M1M, and we will retweet and whatever. The judges today are Vikrant Mathur from iFood TV and Mikaleen Dabul from MMIS. I invited Vikrant and Mikaleen to join me on this program to judge the contest because Mikaleen and Vikrant are both, members of the 1M1M program. They've been members of the program for a couple of years, and they have both traveled the 0 to 1 million journey and beyond very successfully. So I wanted to introduce you to these two, peers in your in the program who will inspire you and who will be able to give you feedback from their own journeys as they listen to your presentations and your business strategies and reflect from their own experiences. So I will give Vikrant a chance to tell you a little bit about his company, iFood.tv, quickly, and then same with Mikaleen, and then we will jump into the presentations. Go ahead, Vikrant.
Yes, Sramana. Hi, everybody. It's great to be here. I'm looking forward to listening to all of your pitches, and it's just wonderful to see the participation. Just to give you a little bit of background, I co-founded iFood.tv about 6 years ago. iFood.tv is a multi-platform video channel for food and cooking related content. We started off with our website, which today gets about 7 million unique visitors a month, but we've expanded ever since to mobile platforms, TV platforms, smart TVs available on Samsung and Sony and a whole bunch of different platforms. Before that, I was involved with a couple others successful by some bigger companies, and so this is the fourth startup actually that I've been involved with. So if you have any questions specifically about startups or scaling up or anything in general, I'm very happy to provide my opinion and share my experience. Thank you.
All right. So we are actually going to kick off the presentations and do a few presentations and then give Ms. Mikaleen a chance to introduce herself. So I invite.
Hi, it's Mikaleen. I just joined, but you can hear me?
Just a second. Stay on mute for the moment. If you are looking for the video recordings, please use the YouTube channel. The link is on your screen. You will find all the recordings of sessions here. And we're going to start with Purushart Saini from SIT Secure as our first presenter. We'll do a few presentations, then take a quick break and let Mikaleen introduce herself. She's on the call and Vikrant is on the call. Mikaleen and Vikrant, you guys will have chances to ask questions from each presenter after they are done with their presentations. So I will give you the cue when we are ready to do Q&A. Okay? So that will be the format. We'll presenters, try to keep your presentations as short as possible. Try to keep it within 5 minutes so that we have time to discuss your businesses, and that's where the real insights come out. So if you consume the entire time that is allocated to you, we will not have time for Q&A, and that's not desirable. This is also your opportunity to get feedback from the judges. All right, so Purushart, over to you. Please go ahead and tell us what SIT Secure is all about.
Good morning, good evening, and namaskar to all. This is Purushart from SIT Secure Mumbai. I'm the founder and CEO of this company. In this company with me are my two co-founders, Mr. Dhaneshwar Nathavrekar and Mr. Ramesh Iyer. As CISO and CMO respectively, both of them are traveling on work, so couldn't join us tonight. We are in the vertical of IT security services. Specifically, what we do is we do security audits in a way which is different and world's first. Next slide, please, Sramana. IT security market is more than $1 billion market currently. $2 billion was the last year's spendings on auditing services and consulting and solution services worldwide. Our target customers are typically large enterprises, mainly in the BFSI, process outsourcing, software development companies, the mobile service provider, internet service providers, as well as cloud service providers. All of these people are very the IT security is very important for them. It is a mandate from almost all the clients of theirs that what are the security systems in place and how do they ensure that the client data is not leaked. Our point of entry is the owners of IT assets, so typically director of IT or VP IT or CIO, CISO, CTO. We speak to these people and see where they are, and according to the stage at which they are in their approach towards the posture of IT security, we enter with our offering called super security audits. Next slide, please. What we do with super security audits is we speak about moving beyond compliance and certification, which is there to ensure or to give surety to the clients that we are secure. But beyond that compliance and certification, which takes care of a part of the whole, the security incidents still happen, and people are always not sure of what is needed of them, what is required of them, and the long list of various rules, regulations are become boggling, and everyone is in it for being compliant. Nobody is thinking that are we secure, everyone is thinking are we compliant. So we changed that perspective into the organization. From an IT security audit report, we give the businesses insights into the IT department's budget management, team management, workflow management, which is a very unique approach to look at these aspects of business. After we have done a super security audit, we say that the posture of organization is super secure from external threats as well as the internal threats, and from then on they maintain that posture with the continuous security that super security audits bring to the organization in terms of the processes that are set in motion. Next slide, please. The segment analysis goes like this. As I said, everyone is governed by fear. If I do this wrong, I'll lose my job. If I do that wrong, I lose my job. Nobody sees actually the value that being secure or adapting secure practices bring to themselves as well as to the organization. The entire market is a very closed market, and it is everything happens after the NDAs are signed. So there's a lot of information which is hidden, and because it's hidden, many times it's also neglected. In getting to a client, in acquiring a client, the trust factor plays a major role. It's a relationship sale that happens in this particular segment. And the major reason anyone gets into the security, looking at the security posture, is that they are trying to implement some sort of a compliance, maybe ISO 27000 or COBIT or PCI or something like that. In India as well as in the rest of the world, the market is dominated by giants like HP, Deloitte, KPMG, at some places IBM and Ernst & Young and companies like that. Lately, Intel is also planning to get into the vertical of IT security, and we are actually in communications with them to see if a collaboration is possible. This is what typically a target customer looks like. Team 44 has worked up the ladder and is there. As the director IT, there is a compliance in place, but changes are happening. They are not sure what changes are happening. Changes are not communicated. Changes are not documented properly. The compliance still holds because there are certain processes in place and they are happening, but the information flow is not happening from the people who are doing the implementations, from vendors up till the boardroom. That a person like that would immensely benefit and bring a lot of value to the organization by going through a super security audit. Another example would be a 30-year-old co-founder of a growing e-commerce portal. Things are happening, things are exploding, no time to look at what is happening. Functionality takes priority, and as things are going, there is that undercurrent of unsurety. We are at a very nascent stage right now. We have about 4 clients after we started in the month of July. Before that, I was working as a freelancer. This particular vertical, the sales cycle are long. Typically, it takes about 8 months to close a company. Enterprise, a lot of meetings. This is a direct sales. There is channel marketing involved as far as the Indian market is concerned. A lot of people search for the auditors through the hardware vendors, and that is also something that we will be bringing into play later. And the one thing that plays a major factor, and that's how we have closed all the deals, are the referrals from the clients for whom we have done this in the past. Actually, I have done that as a freelancer in the past when I was validating the idea at a very early stage. Next slide, please. The competition consists of IT security companies, as I said, some of the dominant ones. Then there are independent auditors into the market, which are growing in huge numbers. All of them, what they are offering is that they run a few tools, they take out the reports from those tools, and they write an audit report, they submit the report, and they are gone. In super security audit, we are competing on the grounds of uniqueness, because after the report is done, we also follow up with the client, we explain the report to the client, we take a whole procedure as a part of the auditing process or the post-auditing process, in which we demonstrate that these are the things that have been found, this is your implementation roadmap, and as you are implementing that roadmap, these are the values that you are unlocking. Next slide, please.
All right, I think we're going to stop you there. Your time for presentation is up. We're going to give some feedback and ask some questions. See, for me, it sounds like you're trying to be an IT security auditor. It was not at all clear to me what is the differentiator, and it's IT security in general is a very crowded market, and if right now your segmentation, your positioning, everything seems to be very wishy-washy. You need to be much more thorough in defining who is your, a Fortune 50 company is not going to use you as their auditor unless you explain to them what is it that you bring to the table that is so incredibly compelling. And I didn't get any sense of that. It seems like a very it seems like a very vanilla offering to me. So if that seems like a vanilla offering to me, just imagine what that seems like to somebody who lives and breathes IT audits and IT security in a Fortune 50 company where they have the responsibility of security. So I'm going to invite Micheline to give her input. Micheline actually has a lot of experience in the field of IT security. She works in the healthcare and pharmaceutical space in the healthcare IT domain, but she does have compliance and security as a major part of her experience and expertise. So Micheline, what do you think?
Hi, thank you for the introduction. First, I think it was a good presentation. I agree with Sramana on a couple of points. When you're dealing with even small companies, if you're not going to deal with the large companies, the small companies, you're going to have to prove yourself and have some demonstration that you've actually demonstrated the ability to work in very secure environments. So one of the things that I didn't get from your presentation was the proof of the concept and what is the primary differentiator for your solution. How are you going to be able to solve the customer's pain point, and can you actually demonstrate that with at least one customer or somebody you're doing a pilot with? Especially in the area of IT and security, there are lots of different players, but you need to explain what you're bringing to the market and why that's going to help solve that particular problem for the customer. If you can show that in at least one slide, that's going to be very compelling. And then, the other potential customers are going to say, wow, that's pretty cool, and I see how you solved that problem, and you really have a competitive advantage. So really articulating what is that major compelling competitive advantage, why are you different, and how are you, going to compete, in that, overcrowded market.
Right. Vikrant, how about you? What are your observations?
Thank you for the presentation. I think I agree with both of you on pretty much all the points. The one other thing that kind of stood out to me was I could not really understand what the go-to-market strategy was. You've listed out a bunch of different verticals and industries, and you've listed out essentially companies that have more than 200 employees as your target. But then, how are you going to go about acquiring these customers? The sales cycle is in most cases very, very long. You're competing with the likes of IBM and Deloitte, who are already very well entrenched in these companies. They have account managers who are continuously working with the senior executives, and the companies are already buying a lot of technology and or services from these companies. So how are you going to be able to compete with them? And I think that goes back again to the differentiation and how your offering is superior and different from what these people may be offering.
Okay, Purusharth, you have literally 30 seconds to respond, and then we're going to need to move on to the next presenter.
Okay, as I said, that this is a relationship sell, which is what in India currently we are doing with Mr. Ramesh here. And to speak about it, we have already sold this offering to two of the big giants in the BFSI sector, one in Mumbai, another in Hyderabad. And that has already started to move. As I said, Central is already interested and are looking at this offering.
Out of those relationships, why is it that they are buying into your value proposition? And that's part of the positioning exercise that you're going to have to do, is to be able to extract out of those relationships what is the nugget that is helping you clinch the deal. And that, those are the kinds of things that will help you do if you win the contest or otherwise.
Yes. I hope so.
Okay, great. So this is actually a very good segue into Micheline's background. Micheline, why don't you introduce yourself? I did introduce you a little bit before you came online, but this is an interesting opportunity to, because we already talked a little bit about your background, just tell the group about MMIS in a quick minute.
Okay, sure. MMIS is a global technology company. We specialize in developing software as a service solutions for pharmaceutical and medical device companies. Specifically, we developed and successfully launched a product called MediSpend. And MediSpend is a product that allows pharmaceutical and medical device companies to capture all of their payments and transfers of value made to physicians and hospitals. The reason why that is so compelling for pharmaceutical companies is because of law. There are new laws that have been passed here in the United States and in various states throughout our country, as well as France, Japan, and other countries are coming on board. So having transparency, having the availability of data to show the relationship between pharmaceutical companies and physicians and hospitals is paramount to helping patients understand how their healthcare providers are going to treat them. So ultimately, transparency is going to help improve healthcare, improve the cost of healthcare, bring the cost down, and we found a niche by providing the software that allows pharmaceutical companies to adhere to this law. Now, my company probably 20 months ago was in the same spot that a lot of you guys are at. What is the benefit? What is the proof of concept? Do you have a reference base? Why do customers choose your product? What is the total available market? How are you going to, manage if you get an investment? How are you going to spend that money? How are you going to grow your business? All of these things which, Sramana has guided me through not only the roundtables but the tutorials that are online, really, really help you through each one of those phases. And, our company is successful. We've got over $5 million in backlog. We've got multi-year contracts. We've secured clients through the, following these very basic but very, very important phases of growing your company. And I have to thank Sramana for putting up with me through it all.
Ultimately, it is you, the entrepreneur, who's going to make it happen. We just provide you with a little bit of a framework and a template through which you can keep your journey focused and, guided, sort of. But really, the reason I invited Micheline and Vikrant onto the show to judge this today is to give you real-world role models of people who have traveled your path, the path that you're about to travel or you are traveling. They have traveled the path, and they will tell you, each of them will tell you that you can do it. That's the main message that Vikrant and Micheline is going to give you, and of course I am going to give you as well. All right, so we'll go to the next presenter. Thank you, Micheline. We'll go to the next presenter. Vipin Agarwal, I think, is the next presenter.
Yeah, hi everyone.
Go ahead.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay. Hi everyone. Good morning to everyone in the US. Good evening to all the participants from the other parts of the world. So I'll start off the presentation. We are from N-Market. Myself, Vipin, I'm the founder, CEO. I have on this slide my co-founder, Ekta. Both of us together started this company. In a nutshell, if I try to summarize what we do, N-Market is a platform neutral, a platform for people to leverage their social profiles across different social media networks to do transactions with each other online. So that's in one line what we do. For a seller, what does that mean? Sellers can create their web identities, which can lead them to do a lot of lead generation across different social media networks, and which is where the platform independence comes in. We provide them an integrated payment gateway so that they can create their web presence, and everything is done in 3 minutes. So like the pitch for a seller is, a person who wants to create a service online, is that he can do all of this in 3 minutes, very fast, easy, and intuitive. What do the buyers get from our platform? Buyers get relevant, tailored search results based on what their social profiles and media and social network is across different platforms, whichever ones they want to connect up with. They can get bids, queries from interested sellers who can contact them in case a person is looking out to get some service online. So this is in summary what we're doing. The next few slides talk about or give us few snapshots of the platform. So this slide in specific gives a platform of the interface when it comes to a seller's perspective. A seller can, as you can see on the top left, the first image on the top, the seller can actually create a very intuitive, graphic-rich, as well as a visually appealing kind of an interface, and it's all like a 3-minute kind of stuff for him to do. It's a free listing for him. He can reach immediately millions of buyers across the globe using or leveraging his social networks, already existing social networks across different platforms. And the best part about all this is all the references or the referrals that he gets from anyone, whether there's a buyer, a person who likes it or whatever, get transmitted across different platforms. So like it's a media network which builds on itself for the sellers. What happens
here, Vipin? I think it's one thing that I'm struggling with, and which normally means if I'm struggling with it, other people are struggling with it as well.
Yeah.
What kinds of networks are you talking about connecting into?
So I'm sorry, I didn't explain that. I was talking of all the global social media networks, which includes like the Facebook, Google, LinkedIn, Twitter, and all such other platforms. So like we already have these platforms integrated on us. We pull in the social network from these platforms. Besides these, we are slowly over a period of time building other social media networks also inside the platform, inside nmarket.com. So what happens is for a simple user, he can sort of pull in his social network from any of these profiles. If he is interested and if he likes the platform, he can pull the network from multiple platforms like Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, all of them simultaneously. And he can then use nmarket.com to market his services or his products or his referrals across all these channels at one go. So this is one single point of contact for him to market his services. I can explain it to you in the next few slides too. So if you go on the next slide, what does a transaction happen? How does a transaction happen? So like a transaction on nmarket.com is a simple conversation, just like you do on a Facebook or something. I think the picture tries to capture it, the top left picture. It gives a brief snapshot. You can send a message to a guy just like you do on a Facebook or any other Twitter platform or any emailing platform. And you can do the conversation or negotiation with the guy. Similarly, if you are looking out for something and you can't find a guy or a service provider who's providing you that service, you can actually go on the platform and ask for that service. You can just simply say, I'm looking out for something, and if there's anyone who can provide me this service, I'll be happy at this price. Next slide, please. So what are the kind of services, if anybody asks, that can be provided online by different people to each other? Very simply, 4 broad categories that we've tried to break this down into. In the travel domain, the typical example is the homestays. I think everyone, most of the guys know about Airbnb. That's a typical example of a peer-to-peer transaction marketplace online. But Airbnb is specifically limited only to homestays, but what we as a platform provide is across different verticals. So like in travel domain, people can put up their homestays, people can provide transportation services, people can do food catering, so like home-cooked food for a person traveling from India to Italy or vice versa for a person. What are business support services, which is the next big vertical that we are targeting? Business support verticals are business support services provided by 1-man or 2-man kind of enterprises, setting up their homes to the SMEs. So a very relevant, simple example of this would be accounting kind of service. So like chartered accountants have to file annual returns for companies. That's a one-time exercise for an SME, and any person who can sort of do a transaction or send across his documents to a CA who has somewhere come to him through his social referrals or through his social network on nmarket can send the documents. The third big vertical is again customized gifting. A person can choose different service providers to send gifts to their loved ones or anyone in the world through this platform. The gifts can be customized through the conversations that people can do with each other online. So like I can call up I can sort of communicate to a service provider and say, hey, I want this gift to be wrapped in say blue color. My girlfriend likes this, and my girlfriend likes blue color and all. And the last community obviously is the international freelancers. Next slide, please. So what's the market potential for this particular kind of a marketplace if you look at it? we do not have readily available data sources to say or quote a few numbers. But what we do have is a few proxies that we're using. So Airbnb is already a I think it's crossed 500 million already in terms of revenue. All these other freelancer platforms are the ones which turnover individually of all these companies is more than, I think, 50 million each of all these verticals. I think the top 4 freelancing companies itself have a market which is like 400 million plus. Companies in India, I think one news article mentions about simple classified sites getting investments of the likes of 32 million. These are just proxies, as I say. We do not have absolute numbers on these particular things. Next slide, please.
Vipin, quick question here. Do you have a sense of which of these verticals you want to enter the market with? If you try to do all of them at once, right at the entry point, I don't think it's going to work, frankly.
Yeah, great question, Sramana. I think the way we are targeting the market right now is we are trying to enter the market with a specialized focus on 2 key verticals. One is the travel vertical, which is the easiest entry barrier for people to cross because they're already accustomed. It's the biggest entry, it's the biggest vertical across different categories in which online transactions happen. And the other is the customized gifting, which is again something which is very, very personal to people. People like doing transactions and they're already looking out for it. So that's how we are entering the market. But at the same time, we are not stopping anyone from creating a listing if he comes from any of the other verticals.
Yeah, but I think you're going to have to kind of focus on one, and I think travel is a reasonable one to start with. If you try to do all of them at once, you're not going to service these customers very well.
Definitely, Sramana, I get your point. I think which is why exactly, so we are targeting one at a time and maybe in the future. So there are a couple of thoughts on that also that we're thinking. So maybe creating subdomains or something other for each of these verticals in the future. But so far, initially, the focus is to try to create a social network first, try to bring that community of people together, and then let that community sort of start dividing or subdividing. That's what the eventual aim is.
Yeah.
In terms of what the strategy.
Once you have a community transacting on your site, they can use the same mechanism for doing other kinds of things, but you have to get people in with one relatively low-hanging fruit.
That's right.
So what is the current status? Are you guys live? Is this happening already?
Yeah, very much we are live. So we went live in the month of October, mid somewhere. I think October 2nd or 3rd week, if I remember. A couple of thousand listings in India already. We are sort of bootstrapped right now. So we've not raised money, and which is where sort of we are trying to go about that route very soon now. And we are building a marketing team which will help us market online. This slide, the one which you've opened up, talks about our differentiators and our offerings vis-a-vis all the other global websites that you have so far. So the white column talks about features which are absolutely not there in the relevant website. So like if I compare a freelancer, freelancing platform, a freelancer does not have a social networking angle at all, which is very much there in our website. So like all these things listed on the left side are very much a part of what we provide to everyone on the platform. Currently, it's absolutely free to register, create entities. Okay, the next. Yeah, go on.
I think we've got what you're doing, and unfortunately, time-wise, your time is up. We need to give the judges a chance to interact with. So since I've already done some of that, Vikrant, why don't you go ahead?
Sure. Thanks for the presentation. I guess in any consumer-facing website, it all, at the end of the day, comes down to user acquisition. So what's your strategy for user acquisition? What are the kind of milestones that you're setting for yourself in terms of growth, year 1, year 2, etc.?
Yeah, the way we are approaching markets is we are not running through the traditional Indian sort of which is one of the reasons why e-commerce working. We are going that route of doing online business user acquisition.
Vipin, we can't hear you very well. So your line is breaking up.
Is it better now?
Yes.
Okay, I'm sorry. So what I was saying was that we are going the social networking, blogging, and influencer marketing route to get to these particular persons online. So how we are doing that is by using all these or leveraging all the different social media networks that are there in the market, using the network of the people already registered on the platform and then leveraging it. So like we are totally using the entire social media networks across different channels and also some bit of content marketing using blogging and all. So blogging is so far a bit restricted on our site, but I mean, we are not sort of actively blogging. Our energies are sort of engaged in other things also. But the idea is to leverage the social media networks to reach out. Does that answer, Vikrant?
Kind of. Have you thought about search engine optimization? Because again, I'm just thinking about myself. If I have, let's say I'm traveling to Florida on a holiday, and if I'm looking for a place to stay there, you know, in the past I would go to hotels.com and do a lookup. If I'm looking to rent a property, you know, I would go to Airbnb now and look up a property. But outside of those two things, I would go to Google and search for something that I'm looking for. And I'm just guessing that that's predominantly how people put things.
Yes. Yeah. Again, great question. I think, Vikrant, the way we are targeting this, again, this is one very key thing to what the way we are approaching. We are using geolocation-based API to sort of identify the markets wherein people are logging in from, logging out from. Our internal algos are now sort of tracking that thing, and accordingly, we have a backend team which is managing the SEO element now. So that intelligence is being built up as we say it, and at the same time, it will obviously take some time to sort of identify and do a much more focused kind of targeted marketing strategy. But yeah, point taken. I think we are doing that.
Okay, Micheline, how about you? Do you have questions on this presentation?
I think one of your next steps would be to put together, you know, like a total available market analysis and the financials. We kind of have to see what your revenue stream is, you know, what you're going to be projecting for revenue, and I think that's going to tell a big story. So that's one thing. You know, I think it's an interesting idea. I think there are other competitors out there. I'm not really clear on what your competitive advantage is, but let's put the numbers to it and see exactly, you know, if somebody gave you, you know, $500,000 to invest in your business, you know, what are you going to spend it on? How are you going to drive your market? And, you know, the bottom line is, you know, how are you going to make money at the end of the day?
Okay.
But overall, it was a good presentation. It made me think about, you know, a lot of different things and, you know, looking at the comparison. But, you know, my one driver would be, you know, look at the financials and see what your projections look like. That's the one part that's kind of missing for me here.
Okay. Thanks for that, Micheline. We'll definitely do that.
Thanks, Vipin. I like the idea, actually. I think it's a high potential idea, but it's like most social media businesses. It'll come down to where the rubber meets the road.
Yeah. We definitely are trying to burn the rubber a lot. So.
Okay. Next is Harish Shah, mergersindia.com. Harish, if you could unmute your line.
Yeah. Good morning, Sramana. Harish here. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear
Hello?
you.
Yeah, okay. I'm a chartered accountant and a lawyer from India by qualification. I did my extensive research in problem faced by entrepreneurs in finding buyer or a seller, as the case may be, and finding advisor who can execute an M&A assignment. Pain points identified were to really visualize various issues and angles involved in any M&A and corporate restructuring transaction, and coordinate with multiple professionals to formulate optimum scheme and structure, and then finally efficiently execute the same, taking full responsibility. mergersindia.com is one-stop shop which can address all pain points in any M&A transaction. So now coming to the second slide, target customers are both for online and offline services. As we all know, any M&A transaction required multiple skill and professional, multiple skill sets like legal, financial, compliances, accounting, structuring, direct and indirect taxation, fundraising, assets and balance restructuring, right sizing of capital, achieving desired shareholding, etc. So most small companies who are my first target customers does not have in-house skilled staff which can really raise the right question and can have a holistic view on any M&A transaction. We become part of the team and help them to raise all the right questions, help them to expand objectives, which will be achieved as part of the same exercise. Similarly, talking of professionals like CAs and company secretaries, they are being specialists in one particular skill, can neither give optimum solution nor can execute solution end-to-end without involving other professionals with other skill sets. For example, typically a chartered accountant has skills relating to accounting, taxation, and valuation, but may not likely to have enough legal background, which may come in the way of suggesting optimum schemes and efficient handling of any transaction. Similarly, for M&A advisors, they need a lot of database and research will help the advisor to improve efficiency and also collaborate for one or more of their services. Next. So, our value proposition is to we work as a project manager for our customers and taking full responsibility for concept to completion with flexible service delivery model. For online services, we have provided various tools which can be used by our customers to arrive at say various decisions like transaction costs, what kind of direct tax involved in a particular structure of a transaction, ballpark figure of valuation, drafting of a particular document like scheme of amalgamation or merger, monitoring any M&A transaction online, and so that also help our customer to manage the whole M&A transaction online. Next.
So, Harish, I have a question here. Are you trying to do this for the Indian market only?
Indian market and also inbound investment in India, because it requires a lot of expert knowledge of various laws of various countries. So our expertise is mainly as far as Indian tax knowledge, Indian knowledge of India's laws and all that. So mainly for Indian companies.
How many transactions happen in India today?
Sorry?
How many M&A transactions happen in India today?
M&A transaction happening in India today maybe about say 1,000 to 1,500 in SME sector.
1,000 to 500 a year.
1,000 to 1,500. That is every month. That is SME sector, and for large one maybe about 1,000 to 1,500 every year. Large one.
So you think there are 1,000 to 1,500 M&A transactions happening every month in India, and how much money do you expect, does this value proposition or does this company expect to make out of the SME sector M&A transactions per deal? What is your business model?
Per deal, our business model is to give every service under single window. And
no, how do you get paid? That's not the point. The question is how much do you get paid?
We may pay from 500,000 rupees to about say 40 lakhs rupees, 5 lakhs to 40 lakhs, 500 lakhs to 500,000 rupees to 4 million rupees
per transaction.
Per transaction.
Okay. All right. Keep going.
Yeah, so our customers are both online and offline customers. Subscription model and pay-per-use for online services where we provide various tools and also database and research articles and all that. And offline customers are mainly companies directly, and M&A advisor and professionals help us by collaborating with us. Next. We try to collaborate and associate with various service providers, participate in conference and market through our own site, that is Mergers India, and also publish an online magazine on mergers, that is M&A Critics, since last 4 years. So that is our customer acquisition strategy. Okay. Next. As far as online services are concerned, we have still not come across any site which has got similar tools which can help people to decide various things required to be done in any M&A transaction. But as far as offline services are concerned, our single window and flexible delivery model with personal interaction with client at highest level is the key differentiator between us and the competitors.
Okay.
Next. We already have executed 150 plus transactions in the last 4 years, including 2 cross-border. And online services, one big four is our lifetime member and 10 renewals of other subscriptions.
Okay.
That's it. Next is queries. We are still, since last 3-4 years, we are struggling how to grow and increase our reach all India level or maybe at the global level for inbound deals to India. How to scale up our all India business and what is the way to have an associate which can work for us all over India with a very minimum what can the cost involved by us. How to increase our offline services also. So these are various questions which we are not able to address. since last 3 years. This is the total. In spite of executing 150 deals in last 4 years.
And what is the revenue level right now of the company?
The revenue level is right now the company is about, say, 20 million rupees.
30 million rupees, okay.
See, part of the revenue also go to a chartered accountancy firm where valuation report is to be issued by chartered accountancy firm.
All right. I think we've got more or less what you're trying to do here. Why don't you, Micheline, why don't you go ahead and ask your questions first? Or make your...
Well, I think it's great. I think it was a great presentation. You actually hit the points because I'm running kind of a little tally here on the main things that I'm looking for in a presentation. I think the total available market, I'd like to see what that looks like and what you're just even off the cuff what you're thinking that you could do in terms of revenue this year and next year. I think you could absolutely benefit from becoming a very integrated member of 1 million over 1 million. You are ripe for going through every one of these modules to answer these queries, to put a really comprehensive business plan together. I think you should take some of the success stories that you already have with your basic, your 20 million in revenue so far, and show in the next presentation, what were the successes, what did the companies, why did they pick you, how long was the transaction, and the benefits to the end user. I think you've got a great idea here, and I'd love to see it, see it progress. But I think if you get connected with Sramana and you do a few more of these presentations, you're really going to, cut down the time it's going to take to get your business model and your business up and running.
Okay.
Grant, how about you?
Yeah, a couple of things. I think to me, as I was kind of thinking about this, one of the questions that came to my mind was you mentioned online services and offline services. For the revenue that you have today, what is the split between online services and offline services?
To be very frank, online services revenue is very, very meager. I mean, it's maybe less than 100,000 rupees. 400,000 rupees, correct? 400,000 rupees, 400,000 rupees.
Okay. So I guess, if I were you, that's just one thing that I would think about. Is it worthwhile pursuing both strategies, or should you focus on one versus the other? Should you just become a research and a resource hub for people who are researching and learning more about these issues, and just go by that, versus having having an advisory team that you're running? The other thing that I was kind of thinking about, especially with the online services, was the churn that you may have, because M&A happens at a specific time and point in life, and once I'm done with that, why should I continue to pay you a subscription service? I would probably be a paid member for 3 to 6 months before and after it's done, I may leave. So from an online services standpoint, I would start thinking about churn and how you would need to continually get more and more subscribers and users. Again, I would highlight search engine optimization as if you're not doing that yet, as one of the key things that you should be looking at, because people go to Google to research for these things, and that's how you should be popping up, and that's how they should be knowing about you.
Yeah, just to add, for online services, we know that our target customers are only M&A advisors and professionals, and not the companies directly, because they enter into M&A transaction once in a while. So we are targeting that, and that's why we said one of the big four is life member, and other three also are members of our site, getting data from our site for their M&A activities and executing M&A deals by them. So we know that M&A online is not going to be a very big market, but it also helps us to get offline customers, considering increasing our credibility, and also because of the magazine, it's reaching about 1,000 people. It helps us to get offline customers at the same time.
I'm actually in agreement with what you're saying there. I think this is not a business that is going to be pure online business. It's going to be an online-offline business. And I think what you're talking, Vikrant is absolutely right on the SEO front. Especially if you're doing a magazine, you need to basically do an online magazine that is a compelling way for you to capture some of these leads and so forth. But to sell, $5 million to $40 million, consulting agreements essentially is what's going on here. But it's a nifty, interesting way of how you have positioned this. I think the value proposition is interesting, but my hunch is this is not going to be a very large online revenue generating business. It's going to be an online lead generation, but a lot of the business delivery will need to happen offline, which I don't have a problem with personally, but as long as you recognize that that is going to be the nature of your business.
Yeah, we understand that. We have, traditionally, about 95% of the revenue is because of offline services.
Yeah. Okay. All right. I think we've got it. Good, interesting business, actually. By the way, folks, those of you who are trying to compute in your heads what is 30 million rupees in US dollars, it's $600,000. 3 crores is the number that Indians would use to say 30 million rupees, and that translates into about $600,000 US. So the company is actually generating substantial revenue, and the value proposition is validated. Good. Okay, we move to Israel. Shai Spedgang, Rides app.
Thanks.
And if I remember correctly, Shai, you were one of the largest, you got one of the largest numbers of votes. Actually, that's a good segue into Maureen. Would you provide how many votes each of our contestants today got during the audience voting round? I just remembered looking at you, Shai, that you had a lot of votes.
Thank you. Yes, we had a few votes. We asked our friends to vote, and they voted, and it was great. And very pleased to be here. Rides app is about helping one another. It's about building community through technology. In Israel, we have a culture of carpooling. You see a friend, a neighbor who needs a ride, and you give it to them. So we take that to the world and say there's community building that needs to happen, and there's an inefficient market out there. Next slide, please. The inefficient market is the picture you see here. Many people wake up every morning to this picture. They have to drive to work somehow. On the left, you see the fast lane. And in many fast lanes around the world, what happens is if you have 3 or 4 passengers, you get a free ticket on the fast lane. So it's about taking the congestion off the roads through technology. Next slide, please. Thank you. And in fact, there's a perfect storm right now brewing and happening. On the one hand, we have smartphones, which have beautiful graphics and everything. I remember my first BlackBerry in Canada. Before I moved to Israel, it was all text, but today we can run YouTube videos on our smartphone, which is great. So that's the technology side. On the other hand, we have sites like Meetup, e-invite, Facebook groups that are all meetings where people need to get there, but none of these sites provide the ability for everyone who's going to be there to get there together. The whole purpose of a meetup is to network. So my philosophy is let's network on the way there and on the way home. Next slide, please.
Nice.
Of course, time is money, and sitting in congested traffic is not efficient, especially when you're just one person in the car. But if you're 3 people, you can have a nice conversation, and you can pull out your laptop and start doing some work. Next slide, please. So I have a business mentor that told me if there's competition, if there's someone else doing it, that means there's something to fight over. There's a market out there. And this is most of our competitors. Waze has had a lot of publicity. I don't know how much everyone has been following it. There was rumors that Apple wants to buy them out. turns out it's not true. But in fact, I put all these categories down as what RideZap does. I want to focus on safety. We have an emergency button that you press it on the map at the beginning or during the ride, and it takes you right to speaking to 911 call. We have driver preferences, smoking, non-smoking. Yes.
Very quickly, we actually have a UK company in this space as well, Go Car Share. That's in the program.
Great. Great. I'm happy to learn from them. I'm happy to share with them our experiences. Something else that we bring is fuel sharing. Because of the increasing cost of fuel around the world, passengers can opt to share the cost of fuel to a destination with the drivers. And that's, in fact, one place where we make our money. When it will run through our system from the passenger to the driver, we take a small percentage. Next slide, please.
Is that the primary business model, monetization model?
It's one of four, in fact.
Okay.
Thank you. I covered in the next slide. Our go-to-market strategy, there are over 100 small towns in Israel with hundreds, and in fact, a number of thousands of people in it that all need to get to work and home, to university, et cetera, to work at the business park. So that's one stream. The other stream is international, to run a contest at Meetup for Meetup groups who can reduce the most amount of carbon dioxide. I come from an environmental background, and that is that's my slant. And concerts. Wouldn't it be great if Madonna or another artist stood up at the beginning of the concert and said, "Hey, great guys, we saved 1,000 tons of carbon today because we all carpooled." Next slide, please. Our business case, I mentioned the percentage of the transaction fee on the fuel sharing, white labeling. In Israel, for example, soldiers it's illegal for them to take carpooling unless they know the person. So we turn this from not necessarily knowing the person to logging it and knowing the person. And of course, we have a Facebook plugin, so you can log in through Facebook and invite your friends. In-app purchase on the way to your 500 meters or a kilometer from the gas station will pop up a option for purchasing chips and a soda and stuff like that, and of course map ads.
Operationally extremely complex network to put together.
Pardon?
That in-app purchase network is going to be very operationally complex to put together.
It could be. Waze is already doing it. I recently saw them come out with it, so it's not the first thing we're going to make money on in our business case. The transaction fee and map ads are the first two.
Okay.
Next slide, please. Here's some screenshots. I purposely put it in Hebrew because I wanted to focus on the icons. We have events at the bottom right-hand corner where you can hold your birthday party and invite all your Facebook friends or some of them, and they'll all carpool together. Next slide, please. And these are the three fields that need to be filled out: where you're going, in the middle, on the left. Sorry, the first one, top of the three is where you are, middle is where you're going, and the when you want to go. And Google Maps integrated. Next slide, please. Very last slide. This is the team, myself, my business partner, in charge of marketing, developer, UX, PR, and graphic designer. Thank you very much.
All right. Vikrant, why don't you start first?
Sure. So a couple of questions. From a differentiation standpoint, you had a slide where you were listing out all of your competitors. And you had mentioned some product features that you have, which might be unique and new that others don't have. The 911 call button, and maybe there was another thing. Besides those, what are the main points of differentiation? Why would somebody use you and not any of your competitors?
So we're setting ourselves up to, from the outset, to be international. Many of the competitors, like Avigo and Pickup and BuzzJourney, they're very location specific. Some are only in one language. My philosophy is to focus on a certain market segment while at the same time being flexible and available for other market segments as they decide to participate and use the app to make it easy for them. So, there'll be a few meetup groups in France who are going to use this, in Russia, in South America. I want to be able to make them feel comfortable in their own language and in their own place. So it's focusing on a particular go-to market while at the same time being flexible for any user to use it.
And how are you, just out of curiosity, because typically if you focus on a specific geography, you tend to do better. If you're launching in 5, 7, 10 different countries, what is your go-to-market strategy in these countries? How are you reaching out to your potential customers across the board?
Thank you. So the Meetup website is very useful because you can look for what the next meetup is in a week from now or tomorrow or in the next minute. So we're going to be targeting the meetup groups that start, let's say, in a week or two, their event, and asking them to try it, to use it, to run a contest with them. And so that's cutting the market differently because of the tool of Meetup. So that's why we did it in a number of different languages, because we don't know exactly where those meetups will be. And once the meetup organizer decides to use it, automatically the 100 or 200 people or 50 people who will be attending the meetup will be users.
All right. We need to move along. Michelin, why don't you go ahead and ask your questions or make your comments?
I just have one. I think it was a great presentation, and I just have one question. If you were to receive, $500,000, how would you invest it, and what type of revenue are you expecting? Would you be expecting in the next, 2 to 3 years?
So to answer the first part, we would use the part of the money to further develop the system, to add an electronic wallet part to it. And of course, most of the money would have to go to marketing, and we would focus on, we would choose either meetups or Facebook groups or something that has events in there. Also, Ticketmaster, it would be a focus. And a natural exit would be for a group like Meetup to integrate this system into their system.
Which also brings up the point that Meetup could choose to do that themselves.
The fact that they haven't done it yet, it means that they're either doing it and they haven't launched it yet, or they haven't thought of it yet. It's always good in a business to focus on what you do best. So this is what we do best, and Meetup does what they do best, and merging it would be ideal.
All right. Thank you, Shai. Good presentation.
Thank you.
Syed Habib Pasha is next from Bangalore, India. Syed, are you there? What's going on? Syed, are you there? Maureen, what's going on with Syed? Should we move to the next presenter? All right. Penworks, Vrishali.
Hello, Maureen, can you hear me?
Is this Vrishali?
Yeah, hello.
Hi, go ahead.
Can you hear me, Maureen?
Go ahead. Maureen can hear you. She's not on the phone. Go ahead.
Yeah, Sramana. Hi, good morning. This is Vrishali Humnabadkar here, calling from Pune. I'm going to talk about my venture, Penworks. Penwork engages in collaborative engagements with its customers to pen their after-sales technical documentation on the products and services that they offer to their end users. The result is that the end user is able to quickly go through the documentation and know how to use it. It's because of the functionality that has been described in it, and the customer products are well positioned in the market to fly as a sought-after brand. Next slide, please. Right, so we are a B2B venture into technical documentation space, doing technical writing. We develop the help files on the products and services for any business anywhere in the world. Currently, our focus is on the IT industry, the small and the mid-sized IT product companies, mission being to accomplish a complete understanding of the high-tech complex products and write help for its end users in a simple and concise way. Vision is to be the best company in technical documentation collaboration space in the market and trusted brand that spends integrity in writing. We offer user guides, online helps, training materials, annual reports and newsletters, user interface and content, website content, screencasts, tutorials, templates and style guides. Also enhancement of the existing documentation as well as edit and review of the documentation. Next slide, please. Our key customers have been Demetas and Cumulus Systems. Our technical competencies are the help authoring tools that we usually use, which are listed. Our revenues are also there, as well as the projected revenues. Next slide. Next slide, please. Our USP is that we engage collaboratively and we work for highly complex products, technical products that require a accompanying user guide to be read and understood before the user can start using these products. This reduces the support cost at the customer end. Also making them usable, rendering them usable, and since there is a lot of potential for growth here, we want to capture the technical documentation space. Our turnaround time is absolutely quick, fast, because of the low administrative costs and lean organization processes. We are based in Pune, and we'll be open worldwide through our website, which we are working on. Next slide, please. Target customers are the IT product and services companies, the educational and IT department, training departments, private limited companies and NGOs, the website and software development companies, the IT, healthcare, agro and automotive industries, the IT companies and IT departments, companies with existing documentation, as well as the government and the IT departments of companies. So we work on, in the IT product and services domain, could be storage, networking, security, finance and banking, as well as telecommunications. Next slide, please.
Vishali, 8 lakhs in revenue is your projection. That's like $16,000. It's very small, and you're proposing to pretty much target everybody and their mother. There's no segmentation here.
Currently, we are targeting the IT product services companies, Sramana, and yes, it is. I think that it could be more than what has been targeted, as what has been projected. It could actually be around 40 lakhs in the coming 2-3 years.
And how do you acquire customers?
It is a word of mouth, as well as the Twin website, as well as they're making direct calls. And
you don't use the services exchanges like Elance and Odesk and all that? A lot of this kind of projects go through those, those exchanges, and you would probably be making a lot more money if you just managed your profiles well on those exchanges.
Oh, okay. I haven't yet. I mean, I have registered, but I haven't had the experience of the online virtual world as yet.
Okay. All right. I think we understand what you're doing, more or less. What else do you want to touch on in your presentation?
Yeah, so the competition being the technical documentation companies in Pune as well as India and abroad. What our advantage is that we provide 3 resources who are highly qualified to deliver content of quality content, and as well as with our requirement analysis, which is very precise, so that the requirement, so that we don't have to do a lot of revisions, and we stick to quality standards that are desired by the customer, as well as which is coupled with the productivity as to how soon they want it. The indirect competition is from in-house technical writers, for which our advantage being that we can start work immediately and give on-time delivery.
Extremely crowded market. There are thousands of competitors trying to provide technical documentation services from India.
That's right. Customer validation is we've got testimonials by customers saying that we are doing a good job, we are getting repeated business. The benefits to the customer that we are offering is quality, productivity, cost, and growth in their business and brand value. We are getting referred by word of mouth and by our customers, and we want to work towards it. So the biggest challenge here is aggressive marketing. Yeah.
All right, Vikrant, why don't you go first?
Sure. Thanks, Roshali. Could you talk about your background, perhaps, and the team?
I am a computer graduate. I've done my master's in computer management and diploma in advanced computing from CDAC. I also have done a postgraduate diploma in technical communications after that, after which I got into this area. And I've been finding it pretty interesting. It's an interesting field to work in, with a combination of technology, understanding, and the writing abilities. I think this is what I want to continue to do in future. Currently, I'm working only with freelancers and part-time, like-minded people whom I share my work with. So I haven't employed anyone as yet.
Michelin?
Yeah, hi, it's Michelin. I thought it was a very good presentation, and I like the idea. I'm just not sure how scalable this is. What's your idea in terms of the total available market, and what are your expectations for this year in terms of revenue, and then for the next 2 years?
I think there is a lot of potential for growth in this area, and the growth that I see is around, as per the resources that I'll be taking in, because I have tried this idea at my level and it's working for me, and I want to bring in more people on board to, actually get to that target, and this is where I think the program would definitely be of help.
Michelin, 8 lakhs, what she projects for the 2013-14 year is equivalent to roughly about $16,000. Okay, I think we got it. We're going to try to, thank you, Roshali, for your presentation. We're going to try to do Syed next. I'm going to roll back to Syed's presentation. Syed, please unmute your line and tell us what you're up to. Are you there, Syed? Oh, come on. Are you there, Syed? Okay, if you can't unmute your line, I'm going to move on to the next one. Purnima Dharnidharan. Is Purnima on the line? Plano's Training and Consulting Services, not here. Why is she not here? Wish was Nivedita Chandrappa.
This is Ryan Integlia.
Oh, Ryan, okay. Presenting Ryan, sorry. I apologize. Didn't see the switch in the presenter. Okay, go ahead. Your turn, Ryan.
Thank you. Well, my name is Ryan Integlia, and I'm representing Wishwas. I'm also associated with the Empower Energy Group. This organization is to serve impoverished women here in the United States through co-op resources. Next slide, please. Our mission is to empower South Asian women and lead them to a path of self-reliance and independence by providing vocational training and creating a basically a higher quality of life and higher-end products through a unique cooperative structure, basically providing a personal attachment to the product and the person. The statistics for the situation is that 30% of Bengali women in the Bronx are unemployed, and these statistics are similar for other immigrant women, making them vulnerable to, obviously, some social evils that nobody likes. High illiteracy exists amongst them, and it is obviously an issue and a large barrier to employment. High incidence of domestic violence and other problems occur in South Asian communities in New York City. The issue is that most organizations in New York that work with South Asian women are geared towards helping combat domestic violence, but are not addressing the root of the problem, which is a lack of their financial independence and their access to tools and resources to be financially independent and also feel empowered to do work. The cooperative model Wishwas has with its partners like Empower are very important and is critical to its success.
Just a second, Ryan. Hold on for 1 second. Who's generating the echo, Maureen? Whose line is generating the echo? If you have both your audio line as well as computer line on, I think Syed is trying to dial in and generating echo now and disrupting the call. So if you could please, Syed, if you could please now mute your line so that other people can continue with their presentations, that would be great. And Ryan, you need to speak up and speak more clearly. I think the audience is having a hard time hearing you.
Okay, I'm sorry. How is this now? Can you hear me now?
It's better, yes.
Okay. Should I repeat anything, or was
just keep going, but going forward, speak clearly.
Okay. Again, it's financial independence and access to tools and resources which are critical that addresses the root of the problem, not just dealing with the effects like domestic violence or hunger or lack of educational resources. It is allowing them to be empowered and independent and address their own problems effectively. The segmentation analysis and the geographic segmentation for customers are from the U.S. and mainly from urban centers. Considering obviously the New York, New Jersey area, the customers have high income levels with high education. The psychographic segmentation for the customers and the products will have a positive social impact and need to be able to trace the origin of the product so that they know and are confident that there's proof saying that this product was done in safe conditions that did not endanger the workers or create some egregious or some larger issue that the person would feel bad about. Customers seek out the quality products and those benefits specifically so that they feel good about their product. The target customer is that they have an affinity for the mission of Wishwas and its partners, and they also are socially conscious in that they want his or her purchasing power to be in a medium for social change, and that it will not just stop with the buying of the product. The customer, however, does not want to sacrifice the quality. Quality is critical. Being able to see how the quality is important and the origin of how it was made is important. Customer acquisition strategy is that the affinity for the mission that Wishwas has, the social change, and the quality is going to support and maintain a strict resource for the women to be trained and to also be effective in building a relationship with their customers in a personal level, so that they know what they want and how it's going to affect, so that the product that is being made is in essence already been purchased because of the personal attachment that the buyer has with not only the creator of the product, but the product itself.
So Ryan, let me stop you for a minute here and ask you a couple of questions which I imagine are on a lot of minds here.
Sure.
Is this a for-profit or a not-for-profit?
So it is a for-profit for the women that are involved. In essence, that is their earning capacity. The co-op can function with a revenue generation scheme. It is housed under a nonprofit at this point because it introduces the product viability such that the products that are provided uses an upcycle process where the person involved with the purchase of the product can in essence donate their discarded items, and they can receive 1/3 of the value of their donated items. That in essence directly subsidizes the cost of the product, reducing its burden, and in essence increases the earning wage of these women. Right. And also we introduce hybrid fair trade.
The other question I have is, so just to set your expectations, 1 million by 1 million does not focus on not-for-profits.
Right. It is. This organization is a co-op, and it is housed under the Empower Energy Group nonprofit, so that it can exist. And once it's incubated, we'll release it as a fair trade co-op, and they can function independently.
And what is the product? Have you defined what product is this group of women going to focus on?
Seamstress co-op products. Basically, we're talking about fair trade textiles in the long term, but it is the main product is very high quality, tailored, and specific to the purchaser fair trade product. Seamstress products. So in essence, textiles that are that provide point of origin knowledge of the production of the product.
But what has that got to do with illiterate women in the Bronx?
So these women, Wishwa supports 50 women. Yeah, Wishwa supports 50 women. Actually, I think it's 60 now. That trains them and houses seamstress resources and work in the Bronx. Women who do not have access to employment as immigrants, and allows them to earn a living wage in this fashion in producing these products. That's their objective, right? And they function in partnership with women's shelters and organizations like Empower, who brings an international component from Bangladesh, and other organizations such that they can serve these women and achieve economic viability.
So the main thing that I'm having trouble with is all the social mission and everything is wonderful, but ultimately, people have to want to buy the product. The product has to be of quality.
Right.
And it's not clear to me what is this product, who is designing the product, and how does that product get to quality?
So the product is a product that is jointly designed. And if you see in later slides, I'll discuss the fact that the person involved donates the product that they want, in essence, upcycled. They know the origins of the fabrics, they know the origins of the materials, and they can guarantee the quality and the fact that the person who's producing these products has the resources available, and in essence, it becomes pre-purchased in that way. So in the same right, they can also do the fair trade products that, the co-op products that are generally, purchased as clothes, the byproduct of the materials they have. But that guarantees the purchase ahead of time. It also guarantees the hours worked by the woman to be paid ahead of time. That way, the purchase of the product provides the resources.
I'm going to let Vikrant and Micheline ask you questions. I don't understand your business. I don't understand the product strategy. And normally, I'm a reasonably smart person. So if I don't understand your product strategy, I'm curious who else doesn't understand your product strategy. Micheline, Vikrant, do you understand the product strategy?
Hi, it's Micheline. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah.
Yeah, the product strategy is simple.
Okay.
It provides development of products for these women.
Hold on, please. Go ahead, Micheline.
Thank you.
So I understand what the product strategy is from a 50,000-foot view, but I was asking some of my team members, like, what are you actually making? So I guess we went out to your website and looked at it. So clothing, is it like clothing like shirts and scarves and things like that? I mean, I think you need to tell us what what these women are going to be making. What is the product?
I said seamstress work, clothing, in the beginning. I guess that was unclear. But
so it's just clothing. So it's custom. It's basically custom-made clothing.
Exactly. That's just they have the resources to do that specific work. Sewing machines.
You're basically training a bunch of seamstresses.
Well, not just training. They're providing the distribution and the materials and the equipment so that they can enter into the market with specific customers that are provided for co-op products that they know the origins of the materials. In essence, they can guarantee that these materials are safe. They can guarantee the materials, in essence, come from them, and that there's a personal attachment to each product, in essence, guaranteeing the purchase ahead of time. So it covers their hours plus the expenses. That's the model. And without that clearly defined clothing that's being produced, or bags, or whatever, they can't guarantee those economic resources to pay those hours living wage. And in my opinion, it seemed like a simple model, but I would suspect that anyone would consider something that's prepaid to be economically simple.
Yeah, but that didn't convey any of that, right? We did until well into the presentation. I don't think anybody understood that what you're talking about is a kind of a tailoring service.
Well, the custom clothing production also comes into the next slide, and we're not there yet.
That should be very early on in the presentation.
Yeah.
Right. I didn't prepare this presentation, but I feel that that there's a lot of important parts that need to be explained ahead of time, which obviously explaining that the women, how they live and what the context of the situation was. Of course, my value in terms of what was important may be different than yours. But I agree. I agree that in the context of a for-profit, having this small scale is an issue, but I believe that is served knowing that there are 80 or more of these organizations in the New York area who can all participate in a similar kind of model, all in need of work.
So we don't really care very much about the scale of, a scale that you call success. Our philosophy is that you can be successful at whatever scale you want to be successful at, as long as you're sustainable.
Right, and I agree with that.
The thing that we don't like very much is where you're going to have to wait for people's handouts to survive. That's a model that we don't work with. So we need you to have a viable business model of being able to do what you want to do, whatever is the set of objectives, and in this case, obviously, rehabilitating and providing economic empowerment and independence to a group of battered women or underprivileged women is one of the goals of this venture, which we are completely supportive of, but it needs to, from a business point of view, it needs to have the characteristics of being a sustainable business venture.
Well, actually, the resources do come with a sustainable model. As I said, they're upcycled. The person provides the resources and receives a tax-deductible value for those resources as the clothes and other materials that they send.
Those are not the criteria for sustainability. Sustainability is, can you keep this business going with internal revenue generation and profits? Sustainability, I guess you're thinking about sustainability from a community point of view and so forth. That's not what definition of a business sustainability is. Can you survive? Can you pay the bills? Because to run any organization, for profit, non-profit, whatever, you need revenues or you need some form of money that pays the bills.
We define that the value for serving the woman in providing 5 hours of work for each product, which is what we estimated between 5 and 10, at a $10+ an hour, would be charging only 20% beyond the value of those materials.
And how do you make money? How does this organization make money?
It makes money in two different ways. One, it makes money on the services provided, and then we build that into the cost. So at $50 for 5 hours in production of the product, the markup we chose was, at least at this point in this prototype, was 20%. And okay. the reduction of the value of the materials was 1/3. That helped reduce the burden on the customer while giving us a larger profit margin. And in the same right, we can get the same resources as to produce the product, in essence, for free. So the resources become zero, in essence, because they're donating those resources. So
I'm not totally convinced about that, but
yeah. So that's the primary model, and I understand the point of view of viewing it as a business and seeing the economic viability. In this situation, at its current stage, we felt that providing this resource to these women could give them an hourly wages that would be valuable to them, knowing that it's point-to-point customer to product producer.
All right. Vikram, do you have anything to add?
Just a quick question. Who's buying these products and how are you reaching out to them?
So currently it's through social media and the current network of the nonprofits that are partnered with this organization. And that has provided, I mean, granted, we're serving 50 women, so we have more than enough contacts to serve and provide the resources at the scale that we are for this prototype, venture. But in terms
50
of
women, as in 50 customer women or 50 producer women?
50 producer women. The customer base that we have access to through that I'm aware of is about 3,000. So that's through all our partners and the available community that these partners have. So, but we don't need those because obviously we only need to test the model, and that's what we've been doing to make sure that there's a point-to-point woman producer to purchaser agreement upon every product produced, that each of those hours is already paid for, that the purchase is already done by the time they're doing the work.
So the 3,000 women network, are they subscribing to this model? Are they willing to buy a certain
customer base? Customer base is 3,000. The 50 women associated with Wishwas are the producers. That's as far as we've gone.
You've got enough customers to pay for the 50 women who on the producer side.
That is correct. With the customer base we have access, with the contact base we have access to, that is true. In terms of the pilot, it is as simple as making sure that each customer that have agreed to create the product pays ahead of time, and then it's done. That's what we've been doing.
Okay. All right. I think we understand what you do. Thank you for the presentation, Ryan.
Thank you.
We're going to go to Carla Galvez next. Carla, if you could unmute your line and come tell us what you're doing.
Hi, can you hear me okay? Can
Carla?
you hear me okay?
Not particularly okay. So.
Oh, wait, can you hear me okay?
Yes, now we can. Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. All right. Well, I will be presenting Mexico es Lindo, which is a one-stop shop real estate website. Mexico ranks in the top 20. Actually, it's number 12 with the most number of internet users in the world. And actually, in the past 12 years, in Mexico, the number of internet users has increased to 40 million, which are statistics provided by Internet World Stats. And,
Carla, you need to stop. We can't hear you very well.
Can you hear me like this better? Can you hear me better this way?
Yeah, that's a bit better.
Okay. So should I start again or?
No, keep going. Just keep going.
Okay, so there's a living space. Living space is a basic need that is important, and Mexico's population continues to grow. So there will be more need to purchase homes and space to live in. I'll tell you more about why on the first slide I provided a picture that was me in between a school, and we were holding school supplies. I'll tell you why this is important for my business models. If I could please go to the next slide. So there are two main users in my website. There's the seller and the purchaser, and we like to make that connection. The direct customer that we are working with is the seller. That's the person that wants to sell or rent their house, their apartment, their commercial real estate due to various reasons. For example, maybe they want to relocate because of a career move. Maybe there's a new member in the family, and so they want to purchase a bigger home. Maybe they want to sell because of a testament or will agreement. Or maybe they're just looking for a different lifestyle. They want to move away from the city and go to the beach, or vice versa. And in this search, there are always buyers. And in this search, there are buyers that are interested. So there's the seller, and then there's the buyer. Now, if we could please go to the next slide. If you want to sell your home, you can use various methods. You could use a newspaper, but there is a negative side to using the newspaper because when you use the newspaper, it goes by alphabetical order. So if you start with a B, you're going to be, there's the A, and then there's the B, and then there are also number signs. So if you're a buyer, may not find you right away. You might not be at the top, you might be in the middle, you might be at the end. With a newspaper, there are no pictures, no videos, and there's much more limited word use. The buyer spends a lot of time, but this is a negative for using a newspaper to sell or rent your home. And it's also 300
the primary way real estate classifieds are presented in Mexico today?
Oh, what was the question again?
Is newspapers the primary way that real estate classifieds are presented in Mexico today?
There are actually various different ways that are used. Some of them we have direct competitors which use the internet, and then there's the real estate agents that are also used in Mexico. Remax, 21st Century, I've seen signs, but that's a 6%.
There are online real estate companies.
Yes.
In Mexico.
There are. Yes, we do have
your competitors, not newspapers. Your competitors are the online real estate sites. If you could just focus on those, that would be, I think, adequate. I think all this newspaper stuff is irrelevant.
Okay, perfect. Then we can move to the next slide. So here is the value proposition, since we do have direct competitors. But basically, this is the way it works, and I'll tell you why we are different. Here is a picture of a man, and he's with his computer. He can be anywhere in the world, and he can upload his pictures of the house that he's looking to sell or rent, and he can actually upload a video too. A lot of the websites that are currently in the market do not offer this feature of a video. So that's an added feature where it's a little bit more live. You could do, 360-degree view, which is great with a video depending on how you take the video. Now, once you upload the pictures and video, if you choose to, then the user, you're connected to the worldwide audience that's looking for your home. But here is where our proposition is different, and this is what we want to use as part of our marketing strategy. As soon as the seller makes a purchase to using our website, a part of that portion is going to go directly to a project or community that we're building. So we will partner with different projects and then just say, hey, we like what you're doing, we're supporting you, but it's not really us, it's the user, the buyer. So they're getting a benefit, and we're trying to use that as our branding message because we want to be able to connect and promote community service, and also keep adding content, fresh content all the time about community service and why our services are going to be an added bonus to this.
Carla, when somebody is looking to buy a home or rent a home, what are the drivers of that decision?
When they are looking to buy or sell at home, they want to have a big audience. What they're mostly interested in is a big audience, and not just any type of audience. They're looking for the audience that will be able to purchase at home. So in Mexico, the average age.
They're mostly interested in maximizing the price in the case of the seller and in minimize the price in the case of the buyer.
Correct. But they're also looking to have that customer come to them, because if they're not able to have anyone see them, then they're not going to be, they're limiting themselves.
So do the other online real estate sites in Mexico, do they not have any customers? Are they just sitting there?
No, they actually do have, a lot of customers.
Okay, I'm not convinced about your strategy so far.
Could you let me know about what is not convincing about it? I will tell you why we offer more features than the current that are on the market, because we also want to create a directory of services that are related to home. A lot of the current competitors that we have don't offer that extra service where you can do a click away if you're looking for a jacuzzi, or if you're looking for a pool. They don't offer just a directory right on the front of your page.
Okay, those are, I think, more compelling services. But what you started with, all this community service and all that, they just don't seem relevant to me in the purchase decision of a home or renting decision of a home.
Definitely. Well, I thought that was how I was going to differentiate in a way that I find that more.
That is not relevant to the customer's purchase decision or the customer's transaction decision is not an important differentiator.
Well, the best way that we are trying to compete with the current direct competition is through pricing. We actually want to offer a better pricing, so it's going to be less than what they're paying for right now.
So the commission structure, you're offering a better commission structure.
Yes, we are offering more services for less price. So that is where my competitiveness comes into play.
Okay. All right, please keep going.
So like I said, the target market is the direct customer, which is the seller, and they have to own real estate to be able to put it and upload it on a web page. And the indirect customer are the individuals that are looking for finding that place. The customer acquisition strategy involves going directly to the individuals who are already selling or renting that property. So there are a lot of listings that one can contact and ask them to switch over to our model. So I think they would deserve an opportunity to know that we can offer this product for a better pricing strategy for them. Then we need to gather their data and be able to send them all information so they can see it either through social media channels, emails, videos, interactive magazines, electronic flyers, telephone as well, radio. And we are looking into creating a branding image where, even if it's a small percentage, we do want to be involved with the community. Even if it's just small, and if we can use that branding image as part of ours, then that's something I would like to use. But if it's not the strong point, then...
Carla, is this site live already?
Well, it's already, it's being fixed, but I do have a beta version, and it's pretty much almost done. But
you do not have a live URL that people are actually using at the moment.
No.
Okay.
It's not. It's there, but not ready to be used.
Okay. All right.
So the competition, it's there. As I said, I do have.
We talked about your competition earlier, right? It's the existing real estate sites.
Yes.
Okay.
And customer validation, I guess we don't have as much, except the fact that other internet websites do have a lot of clients, and I feel like I could offer more for a less, for a competitive price. That's
all right. Carla, that's good. We understand what you're doing. Micheline, would you like to comment on the presentation?
Sure. Yeah. You know, it was a good presentation. We could hear you well, and we know exactly where you are, and you're pretty much at the beginning. I would suggest that you do a very, very thorough market analysis. Just even if you took 10 or 15 minutes, we've been searching some websites as you've been talking, and we found some very targeted websites such as TalkMexicoRealEstate.com. And these are going to be your competitors. So in order for you to even break into this market, you're going to need to be able to, when you're presenting to somebody who's going to want to invest in your company, you're going to have to say, okay, these are my competitors. These are the, the target market that they're going after. This is how we are going to enter the market. This is our URL. This is our competitive advantage. I think it's going to be, it's a crowded space already. And you're going to have some really slick, interesting competitive advantage that you're going to have to go out and, market via Twitter and LinkedIn and Facebook and using SEO to really get yourself up on the, on the ranking. So when somebody types in Mexico or Mexico real estate, you're going to need to pop up, or else, it's going to be very, very challenging for you to make a name for yourself. So I think you're really around zero level.
I was thinking to use a lot of community engagement. That was one of my strategies, because as far as I'm concerned, the more user engagement that you have, the more SEO, or actually the more ranking that you can obtain. So I was at the beginning trying to look for, create a marketing strategy where I actually involve a lot of individuals from the onset. Do a lot of incentives for that target group, 28 to 32, maybe with contests. A lot of people at that age are trying to get married, so maybe, affiliate with different websites.
Carla, we're going to have to give Vikrant an opportunity to give you some.
Sure.
Move on, and we're out of time, frankly. I'm sorry.
Yes. Thank you.
Thanks, Carla, for the presentation. Just very quickly, again, I would re-emphasize the importance of traffic acquisition, and especially for you on the buyer side. It's easier to get sellers. It's easier to find sellers because you can go through newspaper listings and contact them and ask them to post their listings on your website. But I think finding buyers who are interested in purchasing properties or renting properties, getting them onto your website, and then having them conduct a transaction, I think, is the most important thing. So think through your user acquisition strategy in a lot of detail with a lot of specificity, and figure out how you're going to get those users.
All right.
So
Thank you, Carla, for your presentation. We're going to move to Syed next. Syed, can you please unmute your line and make it work this time, because this is really the last chance if you can't make it work.
Yes. Are you able to get me? Are you able to hear me?
Yes. Finally, we are able to hear you.
Fantastic. I'm really sorry for the inconvenience which is caused to all the people there. Let me start off with a bit stressed, but then I'll take it through. Habib here from Bangalore. We have an academy called Breakthrough 360. We conduct training programs from the past 11 years for corporates, schools, and colleges. We specialize in student training and teachers training. So what I'm going to speak to you about is a very specific project, Ants to Giants. We've been, the next slide. We've been founded in 2001, and in the course of training students, I found out that the students do not wish to really listen to the elders. So what I started doing is I started engaging teenagers to be mentors to the students. So that was a very unique concept within the training industry itself. If you can move to the next slide, I would explain a bit there. So if you can see this picture of the teenager, there are a lot of issues they deal with without being able to express to the elders. So what I found out was the teenagers, if the teenagers themselves are mentors to the young ones, they have a good listening and they're able to, learn from these teenagers who have been there, done that. So I've engaged about 40 college-going students as well as just started working professionals in a venture called Ants to Giants in one school as a trial, and it's about a year, more than a year, and it's worked wonders. So can you go to the next slide, please? So these are the few challenges which we extracted before even we engaged with the students. And then we found out the primary factor is that people who come train or teach are pretty boring. So that's the reason there's a lot of dropout, especially in India. There's a lot of dropout in the rural sectors. And the same implies to the urban, the bigger school, the international schools. There are no dropouts as such, but the students actually are not interested in learning. And they get attracted towards a lot of wrongs at a very early age. So I saw a very huge business opportunity there. If you can move to the next slide, please. So this initiative is already implemented in a 200-year-old school. Teenagers, as I said, from college and the graduates are part-time mentors. They give about 3 to 4 hours in a month. We've got 40 of them. They've been doing this. We chalked their calendar out on a Google sheet. We had the results of the school was 33% last year, and this year we have got a pass percentage hike, almost double, a little more than double. This model has worked fantastic because they are able to connect. Now what we want to do is we want to launch this entire concept as a offering to all the schools through the school management. Can you go to the next slide, please?
So before we go to the next slide, Syed, what is the business model? How is this a business?
See, as I told you, the students need, there is a need for the students to enjoy their, learning process.
No,
so they are not.
No question. What is the business model? Who pays for your service?
The students pays for the service through the school management at the starting of the year. So we engage with the school. The schools include our charges for the whole year in the fee of the student.
Okay, and that has been validated in the school where you've tested this?
Yeah, from past almost 10 years we've been working on schools. So they usually pay for the training, but they don't. It's not an annual contract. Usually it's a one-time, 3-time, 4-time engagement in a year. So we've converted that because they have a buy-in. They are good. They are okay with our trainings both in India and abroad. So we've been traveling to UAE, the Middle East, Malaysia, and the entire the Indian South Indian, especially the South Indian schools. So they have an open door for us because the trainings are effective. Now, with addition of the mentors being teenagers, that has created a big impact because there's a huge listening and there's a big turnaround in the students' lives.
Okay.
So what the innovative part is that offering this entire engagement for that 1 year, which is renewable in the form of a product. So it's got 3 areas we are looking at. The knowledge domain, the skills domain, and the values domain, which is shared or imparted by experts. That is, the mentors are again, they are handheld by experts. So experts don't go and deliver the program, but the mentors who are actually the teenagers go and deliver these programs. And I have listed out.
Teenagers have in building bridges with parents. You're talking about a psychology counselor.
Sorry.
What experience?
Yeah, there are a few programs. There are a few programs like the parenting as well as values and vision-based leadership, which is we invite the experts in the domain to conduct those programs because those are very specific 1-day or 2-day events. But otherwise, on a regular basis, the classes are being conducted by the mentors. So being a trainer myself, I do also go to the schools and I do conduct the programs, but the difference is we conduct programs which are very specific to the skill set or the expertise, whereas the mentors, when they go, they are able to engage the students on more fun and, those kind of programs which are what the teenagers require. And they would also share their personal, the personal challenges which they have dealt in their own teen years with these students, which is creating a good impact and good listening. So the mentors don't go on their own. They have certain substance which is validated. They have the curriculum or the syllabi which is validated by us, but the delivery is done by them, most of the programs. Can I move forward? Hello?
Yeah, your slides have been moved. Please go ahead.
Yeah. So we're talking about this whole engagement in the form of a privilege card which is given to the student, because most of the students here in India, the young ones, they would love to have some kind of a card, especially something like a credit card. So we are talking about the target group of 7th and 8th standard onwards. So this card is sold to the school in the starting of the year, and that's how there's an engagement between us and these students. Next slide, please. So this is the very rough business plan which I've put together. I have estimated, we have done a survey of schools in Bangalore. There are 751 schools with over 90,000 students studying in Bangalore alone. So our focus in this venture of Ants to Giants is only for 300 schools, which impacts 36,000 students by the end of year 5. So this is this model can be replicated to other cities as well. I couldn't put all the client feedback, but I've just captured a few of the feedbacks in this slide.
So how many schools right now are engaging with you, sir?
Roughly about 40 plus schools we have already delivered trainings, but not in the Ants to Giants model. These are individual engagements, which is not the year-long engagement. It is that we go to them, and once they are engaged with us, they call us back again for specific trainings.
But you have 40 schools that you have relationships with where you are validating this model.
Absolutely, yes.
Okay,
yes.
Got it. Okay, great, thank you. Micheline, what are your thoughts?
I think it's very interesting. It's something that it's really out of my my domain knowledge, but I think it sounds like it's something that's very that's needed. I think you're going to need to do kind of put a few more test cases together, a few more scenarios, and incorporate the proof of the concept. That's what my recommendation. I mean, it looks we'd have to vet the numbers on the business plan and the total available market. But again, it's out of my domain expertise. But that's what I would say. Looking at if I were going to invest, I would want to know who the target, how you were going to actually meet your objectives. That would be the next step.
And Vikrant, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, I think it's really interesting. I'm just looking at the slide that's up in front of me, and in terms of your projections, you have 30 schools in 2013-14 and then 50 schools. Could you talk us through your projections? Because I'm thinking you already have existing relationships with a lot of these schools, and I would have expected to see a little more aggressive numbers here.
Actually, I very frankly wasn't driven from the business perspective till recently. It's almost just about a year and a half since when we are looking at this whole thing as a business opportunity. So I've got a couple of colleagues who are working on the business plans, and probably a comprehensive business plan can be shared going forward. So this is just a ballpark of what is already existing out there in the market, which probably putting up a good marketing team can win us this entire number. So I've just taken students per school at an average of 120 because the target group is 8th standard upwards only. And so we are looking at the first year 30 schools with 3,600 students, and annual sales selling the card at ₹600, which is
we got that.
a
I think asking you the question why, if you already have engagement with 40 schools, why is it that the next year's progress projection is only 50? That we would expect that to be, if this year you already have 40 engagements,
yeah.
Here it should be
got
more
it.
like
Good.
100.
Got that. Right.
Anyway,
okay, the first year we have to, yeah.
Go ahead, please. Got it. We need to go do the judging. Now you have questions in the audience. I think the audience have been listening to these presentations, and I see a lot of discussions, questions, comments going on. So my suggestion is for all the presenters to interact with the audience and collect that feedback and engage with people who are giving you that feedback. And I'm going to hand you over to Maureen, and Vikrant, Michelin, and I are going to disappear so that you can go ahead and we can do the judging while you interact with the audience. Maureen, how do I pass this presenter control over to you?
Thanks, folks.
I got it.
You got it. Okay. So we can leave, Maureen, for a few minutes?
Sure.
All right. Okay, see you in a bit, guys. We need to deliberate on the judging.
Okay, if everyone wants to click on the tab in the upper right-hand corner above the slides, we can watch a video while the judges judge.
And I'm going to share with you a very few points of how All right, folks, we are back with the results. So I'm going to put the whole list of presenters back on the public chat. And the winners today are Purusharth Sayani, SIT Secure from Mumbai, Vipin Agarwal in Market Technologies, Haresh Shah, Mergers India, Shai Spedgang, RideZap, Israel, Syed Habib, Amster Giants, Bangalore, and Brushali Humnamkar from Penworks, Pune. Ryan, you and Nivedita, our recommendation to you is that you need to get a bit more handle on the product strategy of how you're going to acquire the people who are going to buy the products, not the people who are going to sell the products, but how you're going to acquire the people who are going to buy the products or engage in this, custom design relationship with the women the community of women that you're trying to serve. We'll be happy to work with you, but that's one of the gaps that we see in the business and turning it into a business. Our perspective, of course, is how do we help you become a successful business? And Carla, you really need to do a tremendous amount of competitive analysis before this becomes a viable business idea. Right now, you are, your idea is at a very nascent stage, and you're going to need to put in a lot more work to do the competitive positioning and so forth. And again, you're very welcome to join the program if you would like, but today's winners are the first 6 that I mentioned, and you will be receiving your credentials for the 1M1M program from Maureen shortly. And welcome to the program. I'll let Micheline and Vikrant add a few comments to you with some guidance on how to use the program, since they're heavy-duty users of the program themselves. Go ahead, Vikrant.
Thanks, Sramana. Thanks for having me here. It was great to sit through all these presentations. Thank you to all the speakers and presenters. It's always, having gone through this journey myself, it's always fascinating to listen to fellow entrepreneurs and see all the wonderful ideas that they have and the products that they're working on. So it was just great to be here this morning. Congratulations to all the winners. We're excited to have you be a part of the 1M by 1M program. It's a wonderful program. I'm very happy to talk to you individually one-on-one if you want to learn more about what the program is and how to best utilize it. But there's tons and tons of information on the website, the various case studies that Sramana and the team puts together, and the private roundtables are a great way to connect with Sramana and get very quick feedback and very real insights into what you're thinking about your business and the strategy that you're putting together. So very happy to talk to you one-on-one individually, and congratulations again.
Thank you, Vikrant. Micheline, quick thoughts?
Yes, hi. Thanks, everyone. What a great opportunity for you to present to a group, and I want to thank you all for the effort, because believe me, I know how much effort it takes to put your ideas down into a few slides. One of the things that I will just tell you, no matter what you do, you got to have a thick skin. And I think you've got to be able to take the comments that people give you, whether it's in the private roundtable or the group roundtables. Listen, don't take it personally, and use those suggestions as action items to move forward, because we're all here to help you. And I think if you enter the program with that objective, you're going to be able to get through to the end goal, which is to get funding and to scale your business and to really have a good, viable business by, trusting in Sramana and the program. I think there's some really good ideas here. I just think they need to be vetted a little bit more. And this program is really a step-by-step process to go through that. And I do need to apologize for joining a little bit late, but Sramana, I was in a meeting with IBM,
Oh, great. Congratulations.
So, yeah, they want to put a teaming agreement together to work with us. So I'm telling you guys, if you follow this process and you listen to Sramana and you use the network, you'll be successful. I absolutely believe it.
It's not just listening to me. You know, the way we've put together the program, we've actually invited hundreds of successful entrepreneurs to come and tell their stories for your benefit. So the case studies that we have brought to you give you insights into the minds of the finest practitioners of entrepreneurship, you know, who are really making it all happen. So you get to learn not just from me, I'm just a facilitator in the process. You get to learn from all these heavyweights who are willing to share their knowledge with you. And that's the opportunity that we have created in the program. And as Michelin said, as Vikrant said, start with the curriculum, start following the methodology, and start putting one foot before the other. One other point is you don't have to raise funding. We do not require that you raise funding, or funding is not the success criteria. The success criteria is revenues, customers, and profits. That's really what we are trying to gear you up to become, is a revenue-generating, profitable business that has solid customer traction. So that's pretty much it from us today, and congratulations, winners. And by the way, winners, those who did not win, all of you are works in progress, just like all of us are works in progress. Vikrant's business is a work in progress. 1 million by 1 million itself is a work in progress. It is a startup business just like your business. And Michelin's business is a work in progress. But look at Michelin. She's meeting with IBM and doing deals with IBM. She has crossed a lot of the early stage, very early stage challenges to get to the point where a company like IBM is willing to talk to her. And that's inspiring, right? Those are the kinds of proof points that make you feel like, yes, you can do it as well. All of us have traveled down the path that you were traveling down, and we look forward to working with you. So that's pretty much it from today's session. Upcoming roundtables, we could get back to our regular roundtables, you know, where you get to pitch and feedback. So every week, pretty much, you have those. And for premium members, we have the private roundtables every week as well. So that's pretty much it from today, from 1M1M today. Good luck.
Thank you.
Thank you, Vikrant and Michelin, for joining us.
Sure. Thank you.
You're welcome. Have a great day, everyone.
Bye-bye. Take care.